Welcome to the Deals Behind the Money. I'm Mary Kathleen Flynn, and I'm here at Union Square Ventures with all three partners, Brad Burnham, Fred Wilson, and Albert Banker, and we're talking about education, which is something that you guys have been spending a lot of time thinking about and working on. Brad, let's start with you. How does education fit into Union Square's overall investment thesis?
When Fred and I put the firm together in 2003, when we first started talking about the firm, we were looking for opportunities where the web was going to be fundamentally disruptive. So we were looking for any opportunity where we thought an industry could be fundamentally changed. And I think education is one of those. And if you think about the fact that there's zero cost of distribution on the web, it's a ubiquitous medium now, I think we will begin to see fundamental transformation in education. That's why we're paying attention now.
Fred, why does education have to be fundamentally transformed? Why is it an industry that needs to be disrupted by the web?
Well, it's getting more and more expensive to educate people. College education has gone up, by something like 8 or 10% a year for the past 20 years. Less and less people who are college educated are going to work in the fields that they majored in. We have people who are opting out of the education system. Of course, famous examples: Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, David Karp, who's a CEO of one of our companies, opted out when he was 16. So it's clearly not serving the best and the brightest of our youth very well, and hasn't been for a long period of time. And then again, there's whole swaths of our youth that are not even graduating from high school, so it's failing them too. So and it's also built up around sort of an industrial age model. We're going to educate people to go work in a particular industry or whatever, and we're changing, the world's changing to a more of knowledge economy, more of an information economy, and we think the education system's going to need to change too.
So Albert, are there particular areas of opportunity that you see for startups?
What we're doing now is looking at the space very broadly and seeing what the areas are where this kind of web disruption can take place. There's something great happening at MIT, started at MIT, now involves other universities, called the Open Courseware Consortium, where professors are putting whole courses online. And the question then is, what happens with those courses? How do students interact with them? So there are opportunities around channeling that interaction, letting people contribute their own notes in interesting ways. We're also looking at how people can teach each other. So there are interesting startups that are creating marketplaces, and we've always had an interest in marketplaces. We have several of them in our portfolio. Etsy, for instance, a marketplace for handmade goods that puts somebody who makes something directly in touch with a buyer. Well, the same is happening in some startups that are focused on education, that are enabling individual teachers to teach over the internet a particular course, either to other individuals or to groups at a time.
Fred, that's something you've written about a little bit, how the internet might change teaching. You even talked about how your blog serves as an educational tool about venture capital. How do you see that moving forward?
In language, for example, it's some fascinating startups out there where English speakers are teaching Chinese speakers, and Chinese speakers are teaching English speakers, and they're pairing up and teaching each other over the web, scheduling appointments and doing the work together. There's clearly lots of activity around blogs and other forms of self-publishing and user-generated content, and all of the commenting activity that happens as a result of that, that's educational. And I think as we, and as our firm and other firms start writing more and more about venture capital and the venture capital process, one could put together, I imagine, a great course on venture capital just from everything that's been blogged about. And I think that's real world, with lots of anecdotes and examples and cases that could just get created on the fly. So there's, I think, enormous opportunities out there to leverage what's already happening on the internet to really facilitate learning.
Albert, we're going to give you the last question. Union Square Ventures is going to host an event called Hacking Education. What can you tell us about it? And I want to be invited.
Yes.
No press, right?
What we've done in the past is we've had a number of these where we bring together people who are from a particular field, in this case education, who are innovators in that field, together with people who are innovators on the web for an interesting day of discussion. And we're having one of those coming up in early March.
Early March, press invited?
No.
All right, darn. Can't
We
win
will,
for
however,
every try.
publish the transcript.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Albert Banger, Fred Wilson, Brad Burnham from Union Square Ventures. And thank you for watching The Deals Behind the Money. I'm Mary Kathleen Flynn.